Now, the other cherry here is Gamescom. So
yes,
we know there's not going to be no BlizzCon this year. Unfortunately, yes. We were kind of like, how to put this? So I don't think they're gonna make major announcements at Gamescom, because I think their preferred method now is to just have their own little live streams on their channels and announce it like that.
There's not much bigger that they can announce that we don't expect to have announced at Gamescom anyway. So
yeah. However, we do have confirmation that on this year Gamescom, we're gonna have World of Warcraft and Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. We're gonna talk World of Warcraft, although I would love to talk about Diablo 4, trust me, but we have to talk about World of Warcraft and what would this mean, because let's read out their statement and we'll carry on from there. So Blizzard Entertainment is thrilled to confirm their presence at this year's Gamescom, returning to Cologne in celebration of two of their hottest launches of 2024, WoW, The War Within, and Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. This year's show promises to bring even more excitement, as Blizzard Entertainment will have a robust footprint alongside other Xbox game studios in the Xbox booth. So they're both at the Xbox booth as they come together to celebrate upcoming games and connect with the community in Europe and around the world. We are incredibly excited to bring Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch
to Xbox.
Does anybody play Overwatch anymore? To our European community at Gamescom, said Joanna Ferries, president of Blizzard Entertainment. It's wonderful to be able to travel to Cologne, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we know it's wonderful to travel. Okay. World of Warcraft will be celebrating the launch of The War Within, the first entry in the ambitious World Soul saga, with the global launch set for August 26th, one day after Gamescom. We'll talk about that. It's the perfect opportunity for the community to celebrate together. Players with the Epic Edition or physical collector's editions of The War Within can play. That's the early access thing, right?
On the 22nd.
You can go out 23rd of August. 23rd. Diablo will also be in full force at the events. Bring in the World, okay. Overwatch 2, blah blah blah. Right. So let's get the elephant out of the room. Do they have any other things to show off or announce prior to the launch?
One day before, like 2 days before it launches, I would be very surprised.
I mean, it could not be anything gameplay feature, because there's no,
you cannot be already in pre-patch by that point.
Yeah, pre-patch is going to be
your
there.
talent's installed and ready to go, unless they're going to be announcing 11.1 or a totally.
Do you think so?
Game mode, that would be a little bit early and would take away from the hype of the actual release of the expansion. So it cannot be, so they cannot announce anything that would take away attention from the actual release of the game. So it would have to be something that it will come with the game that hasn't been announced yet.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would be bad for marketing.
Well, what do you think that could be?
It's a very good question, man. It would definitely have to be something that gets people excited to play World of Warcraft, because that's the whole point. Something that they didn't announce yet, but they don't need to announce. So something that doesn't require player testing or player feedback. So something clearly positive or as a bonus.
Yeah, I say they will show off a kick-ass cinematic. Probably something regards with the sword.
Ooh. But would it be something related to that?
They won't have. So there's going to be so much information and hype already within the launch. They're going to have to put out something out there to just give you that overarching event on, okay, you're going in a couple of days, you'll find out what the hell is going on. This is something that will await you. So it's either going to be a cliffhanger of sorts, a semi-conclusion or something, but I can almost guarantee it's gonna be some sort of like kick-ass cinematic. And as much as I liked the cinematic for The War Within, you know, the one with Thrall and Anduin and so on.
One?
Yeah, it had a lot of emotion, definitely. So it was miles above the Dragonflight one. It didn't
really say anything about The War Within.
I want that meat, man. I want that epicness, right? I just want. Listen, I want something to be like, to really get me pumping, right? And I think a lot of people are waiting for that. We've seen a little bit with the beta trailer and the Shadow and Fury trailers and whatever, like, you know, when you see the CGI rendered Xalotad face, you know, with the
orbs,
the orbs, that was pretty cool. So I think we're gonna see that cinematic, but the full one. Because we saw just a little bit of it. I feel
Alright.
that's part of like a bigger cinematic. And that would probably be something that...
And would that be the launch cinematic?
The launch cinematic, exactly. This is where I was going with it, because we always have a launch cinematic. We like when the game launches,
For sure.
you have like the full-on cinematic, the scope. Like when you launch the game with the new expansion on, the first thing that happens on your screen is the brand new cinematic. It's not the one you saw on BlizzCon. It's not the one you saw on the beta trailer. No, it's the launch one. The ones that get you hyped up. Go play the War Within, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what's missing with the War Within right now, and I feel that will be shown here. Plus, we have some unofficial insight that the people working on the event there said that they working very hard to make this event a special one for the WoW community. I don't know what that means. This is all the information I got. Okay,
Considering all the context that we have right now for World of Warcraft, with Metzen being on board, with 3 expansions and a big story,
I love
and
Metzen.
things going back home to what WoW used to feel for everybody. This is, I mean, it's copium, but it's a little bit reassuring, and I'm actually getting excited about it because you know what's interesting?
you hear me talking and you get excited.
It's a little bit, that's how it works.
We speak the same language here. Don't you want that cinematic to like, let's go?
Well, the cool part about it is that we've had the Anduin and Thrall one, but we still had the fully rendered Zaltat one. But where is that? Because how many fully rendered cinematics do they do for an expansion launch, right? So either there's a big one that holds both of them, or for would it be for the first time that we have two not launch, but 2 early fully rendered cinematic for a game? Because the last time we've had more than one was BFA, right?
BFA had a lot of them. Yeah, no, well, through the whole expansion, we had a lot of like cool ass rendered cinematics. It's such a shame. BFA would have been such a, oh my god, they butchered that expansion. That could have been one of the best. Honest to God, that could have been one of the best, but not during here. So yeah, big ass cinematic, but I really hope they address that sword. Do you think they're gonna drink the sword?
Well, they've memed it so much, man. And
Yeah,
they're putting so much tension there, right? It's like, what? They even have the shirts with what sword?
Yeah, at BlizzCon, Ian came up with what sword? I mean, what more do you have?
I mean, you're not gonna make a cinematic with Anduin and Thrall looking at the sword and then make what sword is like, oh, just wait until last Tyrant. What? No.
Well, come on, man. It's in the opening cinematic. They look at it and there's something there. Now, again, what we've seen on the beta and what was data mined, there's nothing of sorts in the game. Like when you play, you don't have much to anything to interact with the big sword, unless I missed something. So if they're gonna throw out a cinematic that involves somehow the sword, it has to be at some point, interpreted within the game. You cannot just...
That's what I was thinking about, because if they're gonna do anything game related with the sword, it would have to be like a quest chain that interacts somehow with the world, that has some impact in the world. As it's that's normally something that you have to kind of test.
Yeah.
If it's like phasing related, because you're changing something, maybe the sword.
Okay, drop the sword idea is not gonna happen, but that won't take away the fact that they need some sort of meaty epic ass cinematic on the launch, because Gamescom is like what, from 21st to 25th, and the official launch of the expansion is on the 26th. You said it, we're all gonna be in the pre-patch at that point, so we're gonna be very familiar with what's happening all around. People who bought the collectors and the epic edition, whatever, will already be in the game. So what can they possibly give us, like, to get us more? Because usually around the launch of a new expansion, you're already hyped as fuck. You already got on board everybody to get back in and give it another try, because it sucked and whatever.
You know what?
Yeah.
Somebody in chat pointed this out, and I'm thinking about it, and it doesn't really.
Who? I want to know who.
I think it was Rack, also a new sub. Thank you. How likely it would be to be any version of a movie series possible that would include fully rendered, because we have a lot of
movie version. What do you mean? Announcement.
Not like a Netflix show or anything like that, but anything that would involve having more than one fully rendered cinematic before an expansion releases.
Do you mean something like the Harbingers thing?
Probably, but in this case, fully rendered, something that has no relevance to you playing the video game whatsoever, because it doesn't need to be fully tested, but it could be a way of selling the story.
See, listen. I would love that, and I think we made a couple of videos on that, and I'm pretty sure that there's some shit in the works regarding that.
For sure.
What they're saying here, so I'm just going off of the announcement, okay? They're saying like they're gonna be there with World of Warcraft: The War Within. Now, if you're saying that this is going to be some sort of like movie type series that will link in War Within, that would be cool. But if they're gonna do that, I feel like the route they're gonna follow is probably gonna be the same one as they did with all the other expansions, like Harbingers, right? Like the 1, 2, and 3 or whatever.
Those launch before the expansion launches. Like I think we had that for Legion before. Like we've had the Drag Theater Legacies before the Dragonflight release, right? We had like an episode every week or something like that.
Yeah. Well, this is okay. So. We can all agree here, if they're going to show us something, it cannot be any gameplay feature or something gameplay related. It's going to have to be something lore related, story related, and our best money would be on a cinematic.
Yeah.
Some sort, okay, or an announcement of something, but it will have to do something with the story or the lore, right?
Even if the cinematic is supposed to be tied to some gameplay feature, it cannot be
like
at launch. It would have to be something that pull people into playing the expansion. Maybe like a future tidbit for a story. It's like I don't think they're gonna announce like 11.5 anything related that.
No. That's gonna be very premature to do that.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Imagine it like this. In the past, when BlizzCon was still happening, you would have a launch, let's say in September or October, okay? But BlizzCon was always in November. So all the time, all of the announcements of future content of that recent released expansion would happen at BlizzCon, and it would always be at the very maximum a 0.1 patch. You would see the 0.5 patch or whatever, and you would see some glimpse of the 0.1 patch, okay? You cannot really do that now because you're gonna be on the precipice of launch.
It cannot be that's why I'm thinking like it cannot be anything necessarily gameplay related that we'll have access to. Or
if you're gonna show anything that's beyond 11.0, you're gonna spoil it for everybody.
You're gonna first of all spoil it and kind of make a divisive. You're gonna break apart the people's hype with the game. Are you gonna make them excited to play 11.0 or excited to play 11.1? So that's a little bit weird because they have to kind of.
You're gonna have some people. Well, fuck it. I'm just gonna wait until that page comes around. So
I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that they've been playtesting a lot of events in game, but then that's also game related. Like Plunderstorm and WoW Remix. Like it's only
a question. Now I see. You bring that up. I feel. What they do with those, they take some very small doses of these and place them very subtly at the moment in the game. You cannot really see that like as full-on features.
No.
Yeah, so I think like philosophically they take a lot of ideas from there, but like actual like practical stuff, it's very, very difficult. And I think they're very happy with that. I think they want to keep these things apart, right? So you're gonna have that could be an interesting announcement actually, some sort of like event or whatever, like a different game mode but related somehow to War Within, like one was like Plunderstorm or Remix. That could be a thing. I can see that.
The coolest part about it is that we're trying to rack our brain and we cannot figure out exactly what it could be. And the fact that they're unpredictable is a good thing, because we could probably have predicted a lot of stuff that they would have announced like 2 years ago, 4 years ago.
Of stuff actually, my friend. We have
but that's what I mean. We could have done that years before, but now it's kind of like anything can happen. They've been doing so many things that nobody have expected in the last year even, that we don't know exactly what they could be cooking up. And I think that speaks a little bit to how cool the team has evolved and brought the overall WoW and the IP to where it is now.